Hey guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Plastic. Today we're going to be going over the topic of social media and how it is all smoke and mirrors. Okay, so what really sparked this for me was I was on Snapchat and I saw like this little ad, you know, those little ads after your friends, and it said like I spent the day with an Instagram model, and I was like, She had stated that she spends $32,000 a year on her looks. $32,000. And the first thing that popped in my head was like, girl, if I had $32,000, I could look like that too. I mean, anyone could. But it also made me think about how, honestly, like, ridiculous that is. And how unrealistic that is. And how, the majority of people do not have $32,000 a year to spend strictly on the way that they look with extensions, nails, all that stuff. It's like, people don't have that, and so we're sitting and comparing ourselves basically to money. It's not even really about looks at this point. It's really just how much money do you have. And then she also talked about how she spent 6 to 8 hours a day on social media, whether that was posting on Instagram and or editing her photos, which is just crazy because I film one day a week and it's like a 12-hour day, and it's a lot of work. And I was thinking of her schedule, like every single day, like 6 to 8 hours of social media. Like, that is honestly just very unrealistic unless you're specifically getting paid for that. And so a lot of us girls will go look at these Instagram models and they're like, how come I don't look like that? I'm like, well, one, you don't have $32,000 a year, and two, you're not spending 6 to 8 hours taking photos of yourself to then edit and upload every single day. And she was saying her getting ready process is anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. 3 to 5 hours. That is so unrealistic for the average person that is not getting paid to sit and do that. And so it was just reminding me of how fake social media is. Not just really about it being unrealistic, but it's also become a job. Like, that's their job to look that way. And for the average person looking at that, it just doesn't make sense for us to even compare ourselves to something like that. And then what else sparked it was, I don't know if you guys know her, but she's an incredible makeup artist. It's Likely Makeup. She did a video on social media and how she's been feeling pressure and how she's been feeling like comparing herself to people. And what I thought was cool is when I look at her, I think, oh my gosh, she has a beautiful channel, like her makeup's so good. Like, so many times I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had her talent. And I think it's important for us to remember that not everything is what it looks like, that people are actually very unhappy behind the screen a lot of the time. And I'm not saying people can't be pretty and people can't have good bodies and people can't be happy if they're on social media. That's not what I'm communicating at all. But we have to remember that people only show us what they want us to see. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes because these people are normal. They're human beings. And I think that we forget that because we just see them on a screen 24/7 and we don't think about what they could actually be going through. And so she did this thing with like wearing no makeup for a week and posting every single day no makeup photos, and I thought that was so cool, and it just kind of reminded me of why I started my channel in the first place, was to be real and to be relatable. So people would comment on her profile like, oh my gosh, I wish I looked like you, like, oh man, I wish I was as pretty as you. And she started to connect to the fact that people watching her videos were feeling the same way she was feeling when she would watch other YouTube videos. And I'm not saying that I'm this beautiful person or whatever, but I do get comments like that too, and it made me think like, okay, what am I portraying through my Instagram? What am I portraying through my YouTube? And I went through it, and I'm looking at my phone. If you go through my Instagram, like, I'm dressed up and I've got makeup in all of my photos. I wear makeup maybe twice a week. I wear it when I film, and then I wear it maybe one other day of the week when I have time. And I was thinking, if I didn't know me and I went on my Instagram, I would think that I looked like this every day, that I dressed up all the time, that I had endless amounts of makeup, and I had like this really fun life where I just get to post pictures of myself and nothing else is going on. And it reminded me to do videos like this and to make sure that I'm not portraying what I don't like to see on Instagram. Does that make sense? And so I joined in with her challenge and posted this photo right here. I'm sure some of you have seen it, some of you may have not. And that's why I decided too that I need to start filming these plastic videos without makeup, just to remind you guys, we're all human. We don't look all dressed up 24/7 all the time. Like if you look at my pants, I'm wearing pajamas. It was just reminding me of how social media really is smoke and mirrors, and it's all just fake. It's 100% okay to post makeup photos. I do it all the time. It's okay to post about makeup. It's okay to post about cool clothing and all of that stuff. And it's okay to do a little bit of retouching on your photos, as long as you're honest and being like, guys, this is not my reality. And you have moments where you don't put makeup on, or you have moments where you're sitting on Snapchat or whatever, where you're reminding people that you're normal. And that's something that I want to strive to do even more than I already have. Something that was cool was that social media girl was actually saying like, hey guys, like this is fake. Like this is not real. And she was even saying like, what I do is exhausting. It's tiring. I really sell myself on the internet. She admitted to how she got big was by being sexual and taking her clothes off and taking pictures like that, and that's what made her have millions of followers. And just to remember that what she's portraying isn't real. And I thought that was really cool, because she even said, she's like, I do not look like what my photos look like. Like if you were to see me in person in a bathing suit versus my photos, it's two completely different people. And I thought that was really cool for her to be honest about, but it brought that back to me, because I'm like, man, like how many photos do I look at online that are completely photoshopped, totally mastered? They've got makeup all over their legs, all over their face, and it's just not real. And even if they have a good body, there's angles. Like if someone's just going to take a random picture of you at the lake versus when you're posing, it's going to look completely different whether you have a good body or not. So it's just remembering that the way people are posing, the makeup, the Photoshop, all of that, you don't need to compare yourself to it, because the majority of the time they don't look like that either. And then, I'm not trying to talk about her or whatever, but another thing that came in my head was Jaclyn Hill put her video out about getting a divorce with John. And it again, like, just kind of hit me as like, oh my gosh, I really need to talk about this, because I love them. And I still do. I think they're awesome. But as a couple, I always looked up to them. And I thought their relationship was perfect, and everything they put on the internet, I was just like, oh my gosh, they're perfect. Like, I aspired to have a marriage like them. And now they're getting a divorce, and there's nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about that, but what I'm saying is you can look at something online and think that it's perfect, think that nothing's going on, and in reality they were hurting and they were having a really hard time and they were going through a divorce, and none of us knew. I had no idea that Jaclyn was crying herself to sleep every single night, like as she opened up in the video. Like, we don't think about that when we watch someone on a screen. We're just like, oh my gosh, and they think we think they have this perfect life because they've got money, they've got clothes, they've got Botox, they have all this stuff, their bodies this way and that way, and we just don't stop and think about the fact that they're human, and there's a lot going on, and there's so much work put into that one photo, sometimes 6 to 8 hours of work for one photo, and we look at that photo and go, oh my gosh, I wish my life was like that. But we don't realize that they're dealing with anxiety, depression, they're going through a divorce, or one of their parents just died, like whatever. We don't think about any of that is going on. My lips, I never, ever, ever in my life thought my lips were small or weird or anything like that until I started doing YouTube. There is something over social media that we are getting accustomed to. Like, that's not just a coincidence that started coming to my head. It's because everybody has Botox. Everything is big, full lips, And if you don't have that, it's not as pretty. And so we have to think about what is being portrayed on social media and what we're taking in. When I look at myself on social media, I'm like, that's not my life. That's not my reality. That's like a really pretty project that I put together. There's times where I don't want to film. Like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to people, and I'm going through a really hard time, and it's kind of crazy to go back and watch my videos where I remember I was having a bad day and how everything just looked fine. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't forgetting to remind you guys that that's not how it is. I've actually been going through a very hard time lately. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety lately, actually. It's kind of a newer thing for me within like the last year. And so sometimes filming can, or not sometimes, most of the time, filming kind of sparks that up for me. And I have a lot of anxiety. I feel a lot of pressure of, are my lights right? Like, is my camera's not good enough? My makeup's not good enough. I messed up on my eyeliner. Like, my camera lens isn't good enough. And all of a sudden, all the pressure of, like, social media, like, falls on top of me. And it's just an anxiety pit. And then I'm just like, and that is not portrayed through my videos. And the pressures of social media isn't portrayed on videos and through pictures. Something that I've been feeling a lot lately is just loneliness. Like, I've just been lonely. Like, it doesn't matter how many people are in the room. It doesn't matter how many people tell me they love me. Like, I feel lonely in a room of people. And I know that a lot of you can relate to that. And it's like this longing for friendship and connection. And that's something that I've been having like a really hard time with. And that I've been actually really sad about, and I've been crying about multiple times a day for the last probably like month now. And it's just funny because you wouldn't have any idea unless I talked about it. Being aware of what you're looking at and what's making you feel sad. There are certain people that I do not follow on Instagram. For example, I will tell you one right now. I do not follow Kylie Jenner. I just don't. I'm not saying anything bad about her, but how do I say this? She can just, I'll say this very nicely without giving my opinions. She can just trigger some things that I can struggle with. Think about the people that you're following that don't make you feel good. Try to find people that are giving you that relatability, and block people if you need to. Like, you can always unblock them, but block them for a while, for a period of time. Cleanse yourself from the social media realm of perfection, and just let yourself be you, and just be okay with who you are. And at the end of the day, I mean, if Instagram decided to delete this app, everybody would be completely irrelevant. None of us would even exist in your minds anymore. Like, I always think about that. I'm like, dude, like, all these people that have millions of followers, that Instagram app's deleted, they are literally nothing when it comes to money, looks, fame, fortune. Their career gone. Like, they're irrelevant. And so, just a reminder of, even though Instagram's not deleted, Instagram's pretty irrelevant. It's not your actual life. So get out and hang out with friends. Go do something. Quit living through this screen and thinking that that's what you need to be, because it's not. Please hit that notification bell, because YouTube has switched the way that videos come out. So I know a lot of you guys aren't seeing my videos anymore. So make sure to hit that notification bell. Excuse me, comment down below, and let's just start conversation, and I will see you guys next week.